Hey there, this is going to be a video talking about type 2 diabetes and intermittent fasting. Now, I feel like too many people get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and everyone gets very defensive. Everyone I've spoken to with diabetes, they're always someone who, is addicted to sugar. They have sugar all the time and they have diabetes, and then you propose a new idea to maybe help them fix their diabetes, and they're like, it's impossible, it can't be cured, blah blah blah. Like, I just don't necessarily agree with this. And I have some literature which I will link below that I've just been reading, but you can look up this topic yourself. Dr. Rhonda Patrick has spoken about this, and she has people come up to her who are diabetic, and they've said, well, I tried keto, that didn't work, but when I tried intermittent fasting, um, that really helped me. Now, I mean, this kind of all makes sense because diabetes. The problem is that, I mean, long story short, you're consuming too much sugar, you can't produce enough insulin, and you're becoming less and less sensitive to this insulin because you're just consuming too much sugar. And eventually, your pancreas is just going to give out and say, I can't keep up with this. So you're going to have, too much sugar in your bloodstream. So you have to take medication or insulin or slow release insulin. You're going to have to take medication to lower your blood sugar, whether that be insulin, or I don't know if there's other medication that does it indirectly or through other mechanisms. So the problem here is the sensitivity to insulin and your own insulin. Um, so what fasting in my mind actually does, well, this is my theory of kind of what it does. You're giving your body a break. So it's like a drug. It's like any drug. If you abuse it all the time, you're going to become desensitized to it. But if you give your body a break, like you don't eat for a certain amount of time, your body can recover. It's not going to have to deal with eating with all the sugar and food. Your insulin is going to get a rest. You're going to get to have a break. So, and I'm not sitting here urging anyone with diabetes to suddenly start fasting. I mean, I think it could be really dangerous, especially if you've been on medication for a while. I think you should talk to your doctor, see what they say. I don't want to get sued or anything or have anyone die, but I really think you should look into it because I firmly believe you can fix type 2 diabetes. I don't see why. I don't think it would be that common, you know, before we had all these foods and sugar, and I just don't really think so. Like based on literature and just instinct. So I'm going to read you now. I mean, you can call it. I mean, it's an article, but you can call it, I guess, a study. So I'm going to reference here a article on the BMC website, and they look at I'll read through it. So the background, I'm reading the abstract. The background kind of just talks about what diabetes is, etc. We've kind of just gone through that. So the methods, they looked through PubMed, Ovid Medline, and Google Scholar for review articles, clinical trials, case series. So they looked for trials, studies, and they tried to handpick good ones. That was the method. The results. So this is me reading the results. The majority of available research demonstrates that intermittent fasting is effective at reducing body weight, which is going to be ideal for diabetes. They decrease in fasting glucose, decrease in fasting insulin, reduce in insulin resistance, decrease in levels of leptin, which I think is ghrelin and leptin determine your hunger, and then increase in adiponectin, which I looked up. I don't know if I probably didn't pronounce that properly, and I think that's to do with your inflammation and insulin sensitivity. So I think that's good that that increased. Some studies found that patients were able to reverse their need for insulin therapy during therapeutic intermittent fasting protocols with supervision by their practitioner or with their physician. So, you can take it with a pinch of salt. I think there's some like really good evidence here, and it makes sense. I don't see how logically it doesn't make any sense. Now, if you're type 1 diabetic, I think that's probably a different story. But if you're type 2, I think it's probably manageable. And everyone I know with type 2 is like overweight and they eat too much and they either love sugar or they're overweight. And then it's just like, well, yeah, of course you're fat. Or of course you'll have diabetes because you're stuffing your face with all the sugar. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone. Well, I'm not really sorry. Um, so the conclusion is current evidence suggests that intermittent fasting is an effective non-medical treatment option for type 2 diabetes, yada yada. So I will link this below and urge you to look up your own sources, look up Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She spoke briefly about it. I just think it's really interesting, and it can cause so many other problems, diabetes, like I don't know if it happens so much now, but I'm pretty sure people can lose like limbs and toes. It's just like, if you can manage it yourself, like why not? You'll be healthier, you don't need to take medication, and you won't be diabetic. And again, I'm just not telling anyone to do this, and just saying theoretically. So yeah, I hope that helps someone. Check it out, see what you think. I mean, I think the science is there. If you do disagree, then please say why. But yeah, there we go.